Hi, Firmins. It's Titi. So I was supposed to send an email to talk about all of this, but I don't feel like typing it up. So allow me to do a quick, ideally 90-second. If it goes a little bit over, please excuse me. Hopefully, I don't have lipstick on my teeth. Quick explanation behind why I'm really advocating for Kylie to begin honing, building, polishing her digital skills. As you know, millennials are the kind of the first generation known to be digitally native, and but every generation after that, the idea of being a digital native is going to be considered old hat. And what that means essentially is, in the way in which it made a difference for millennials, it changed the way people were marketing to them. It changed the way employers were trying to reach them. It changed the idea of what it means to have like their just inherent skill set and familiarity with the internet. So that by the time Kylie is entering the workforce and going to college or doing whatever she's going to do after high school graduation, the idea of being a digital native will be so much more advanced that things like having a website, being completely flexible and fluid with social media tools, being able to keep up with the new iterations of all these things, being able to master what it means to kind of, if not be an early adopter, at least to be able to leverage things as they become incrementally important. Because the idea of being a digital native that's going to work in everyone's favor is that as new opportunities, as new platforms become available, it'll be much easier for you to adapt to them. It sucks to be in your 40s and to see that people are on profiles like Crunchbase, or to see that people are doing things like video resumes or having a video website, or they're all about having multiple podcasts, creating their own networks. And the idea of having a podcast at home is almost as kind of old hat as just having a website. Like, these are all the ways in which people are getting their expertise and their voices out into the world. And the idea of expertise, the idea of voice isn't going away, because we are a world of chatter, and all of that chatter is happening on the internet. So essentially what I'm saying is the internet is inescapable, and the only way to use it to your advantage is to own it, to wrangle it, to make it yours. And that means to make it show what you want it to show. And it's better to do that earlier than later. I will tell you a little quick story about myself. I've had an online presence probably since 2002, 2003. If you Google me, you'll see some things showing up from back when I was at Esquire, at Redbook, whatever. Been pretty proud of my online presence. Had a pennywren.com website for almost 20 years, if not 15 years, I guess. So I have been investing in my online presence for a long time. Because of that, I look up myself routinely, and because of the work that I do, to see what's showing up for me. That said, recently I was doing a checkup on my online presence, and I go back to, page 4, page 5 of Google, and I see a Penny Wren with one N, who's a burlesque dancer, showing up in my search results. Now, the only reason she showed up was because she had done a show in October 2019, and in one part of the flyer or of the website or the thing that was promoting the event, they spelled her name with 2 N's. And so now that's showing up in my search results. But I will tell you, if I had not had pennywren.com, if I had not done the writing for Glamour, if I hadn't created my Crunchbase profile, if I hadn't created a Google Sites, if I hadn't created a Contently page, if I hadn't done an issue page, if I hadn't done all of these things, probably half of which I've only done since I've been at Brand Yourself, that little 20-something-year-old little white girl burlesque dancer would probably be on page 1 of my search results. And the gospel that I am preaching right now is, you don't realize it's important until you say something that someone thinks is offensive, and then all of a sudden it goes viral. Someone talks about it. We have clients who are college students, or who were attempting to be college students, but who said something one little girl rapped along to a song saying the N-word, and someone captured it, and then they complained about it, and then it became a news story on the school's website, and then it became something that the president needed to make a comment about. And that is now, integral to her search results, so much so that she legally has changed her name and has to rebuild an identity for herself because she's too young to do anything. Like, she can't get a job. She can't, like, there's nothing that she has to work with. So all I am saying is the importance of this, I cannot overstate. And the idea of it being educational is because, Google recently, a couple things. Google launched two new platforms. One is they've allowed for colleges to basically optimize their presence for students who are searching for schools. So now I can send you a message about a news story about it. But so now the way in which, like, if you were to Google Leonardo DiCaprio, and you'll see like his Wikipedia come up, and I don't know if you're familiar with, there's that little sidebar that will give you all of the quick hit highlights of about Leo, and his birth date and whatever kind of big credits that he has. And so now they're kind of building that same aspect to colleges' online presence, so that colleges can try to own all of these key areas that students want to know about, right? Like diversity, tuition, the likelihood of getting a job, those types of things, so that it's all front and center. So the idea of colleges being invested in the importance of an online presence is not only seen from their perspective of trying to make themselves more attractive, but colleges are also doing things like they're Googling prospective students. They're looking at their social media accounts. And you can talk about, well, I'm not going to allow someone to be on social media. But at the end of the day, being on Twitter is going to be the same thing as having a phone number. Like, I remember when I got my own phone line, and I think of having a Twitter account as the same thing. And the last thing you honestly want to do is to then encourage someone to make that a private account, because ultimately someone sees a private account and they're kind of wondering what's behind that paywall, even though you're not actually paying for it. But the other way in which kind of Google is really setting everyone up for, look, this is inescapable, people need to know internet technology, is like they have created a course online for IT professionals so that you can get an IT certificate through a Google course. I believe it's free, or it's a nominal fee. And that's simply because they were finding that they were looking for IT support folks. So that's that's like the actual technology, like operation stuff and systems administration. And they were unable to hire those types of people because that skill set wasn't being developed. So this idea of, like, it's not just about, a creative portfolio, or like putting forth this idea of the story of Kylie, or the story of the Shelley, or the family business, or Firm Fam. It's really about building a skill set and becoming more and more adaptable to the tools that are kind of going to be required, are already required to work and to do things in the world, and because you don't want to miss opportunities. And there's just low-hanging fruit on the internet, which is a global platform. So that's my spiel for both of you, Firmins. I love you, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.